Why will these Pittsburgh Steelers not fall apart in 2023 if by chance there's another catastrophic injury to a player like TJ Watt, to where the Steelers don't win without him in the lineup and the record shows that? Why will this team stay together, and why are their chances a lot better here in 2023 to withstand such a major injury or a major event to happen to this team? Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, and we're going to talk about that topic today. And I'm going to give you several reasons why I think this Steelers team is able to withstand something of that nature. So let's dive into that, guys, and I appreciate you for stopping through. I have several reasons, and one being this Steelers team is just more complete this season in 2023. There's way more keys to the cog here. There's way more things that the Steelers have going for them in a positive direction than they've had in years past here. And the Steelers have had very, very hard times whenever they're dealing with an injury to TJ Watt, like last season, when the Steelers went 1-6 without TJ, and they went 7-2 with TJ, and all the numbers showed it. Without TJ, they're giving up almost 400 yards a game. With TJ, they're giving up roughly under 300 yards a game. They're going from 17.2 yards a game whenever he's in, or correction, 17.2 points a game average when TJ Watt is in the lineup, as opposed to 25, almost 26 points a game they're giving up when TJ Watt is out of the lineup. Sacks are way, way up when TJ's in there. They got about 25 usually whenever TJ Watt was in there last year. And when he wasn't, 8 sacks. I mean, come on. All those things, the takeaways are down to 5 when TJ wasn't in there last year, as opposed to 16 when he was in there. The statistics are absolutely staggering as the difference with TJ in and out of the lineup. So why are these Steelers able to withstand that this season? The main reason, well, not maybe the main reason, but one of the reasons is Kenny Pickett is better this year than he was last year. He understands this offense a great deal better, and the team and the people around him in that offense are a lot better. Players from last season that contributed a lot are now in year 2 and are going to be able to contribute a lot more. And just the overall understanding of this offense is going to prove big for Kenny Pickett. And then you have Matt Canada, who I feel is progressing now, who was very stale and stagnant with what he had to work with before. Now that you're adding better keys, better points to the better players to this offense, a Darnell Washington coupled with a Pat Freiermuth, the emergence of a Connor Hayward to become very reliable. You have a better Jalen Warren, and hopefully a better and healthier Najee Harris. Then you have hopefully a better Deontay Johnson. And then you have George Pickens, who just continues to get better and better. In the offensive line that has been totally basically rebuilt from the ground up. And then you have stars like a Broderick Jones who have big time potential, a Spencer Anderson, to create that next wave of depth for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. That is where, let's not forget also, you're adding a speed element that you didn't have last year in Calvin Austin III. So the things that point to them being good and better are just way outweighing the negatives that I can find right now. So that is one reason why I think the Steelers team could withstand an injury to that defense, where last year they weren't able to, because they weren't able to put those points on the board. This year I look for them to average 25 points a game. Just the way they looked in this preseason and how efficient they were, it is almost the writing's on the wall. They're definitely going to be better, and that is going to be able to make them have a chance to withstand a defensive failure, a defensive injury, something happening to that defense. And then you have the defense is overall better. The defense has added depth in key areas. I like the defensive backfield with the addition of Desmond King to add that depth. You added a Joey Porter Jr., a Patrick Peterson, the safety position, Minka, Keanu Neal. You have Jamonte KZ, Elijah Riley, all these players in this defensive backfield that have been added to create this depth to where they're not going to be so much of a bind every time there's somebody that tweaks a hamstring or misses a game or two. You're going to have those people that come in and fill in behind to where we haven't had that. And then you look at the emergence of that defensive front and those outside linebackers where they brought in a Nick Herbig through the draft, a Marcus Golden from the Cardinals. Those players alone, adding depth to that outside linebacker position, are going to prove to be huge for the Steelers team, considering they have not had the depth that's been required when there's been an injury to TJ Watt or an Alex Highsmith. Now, they're going to be able to handle those because they're not going to lose a ton. They're still going to have an effective pass rush, which that's where when teams are able to load up on you and they know they're not going to get a bunch of pressure on them, they're able to pick you apart with ease in that pass game. And then you're dropping back trying to protect against that pass game, and then they start eating you up in the run. You're not able to rebound from anything. They're able to load up on one side no matter where you're playing. If you're loading up for the pass, they're going to beat you with the run. You're loading up for the run, they're going to beat you with the pass. You have no way to defeat that. And now with the Steelers' depth, they're able to overcome those situations where they weren't able in the past. I think a Nick Herbig could have a big year. Marcus Golden could have a big year. And I think being able to keep TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith fresh with the rotation that they could have at the outside linebacker position is going to help them greatly in terms of staying healthy, keeping that pass rush going and keeping it moving all the time and keeping constant pressure on those quarterbacks, keeping them off balance, keeping them off schedule. And then you add into that defensive front, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward coming back, still looking good in my opinion. I feel like he's aging great and still producing at a high level. A healthier Larry Ogunjobi. So many players, guys, so many depth pieces that they have not had, and that is going to be huge. The inside linebackers, who we thought was going to be a major deficiency, I think don't look so bad. They look like a very serviceable unit, and that was another unit that was totally reconstructed. Those things are huge for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Very, very big. And when you have Hall of Famers and perennial All Pros and all these players on there that are in this starting position, hey, we get one of them down, it's not going to be the end of the world because you have the depth behind them that is going to be key. And that is another reason, or the big reasons, that the Pittsburgh Steelers couldn't withstand these injuries. And it's just, I see a lot of people keep doubting the Steelers team and maybe saying, hey, they're not going to finish very well in that AFC North. But depth is the key to success in the NFL. And if you don't have depth, you're screwed. And when the Steelers now not having an inflated quarterback salary, Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, Andy Weidel, they were able to go out and create that depth. And that is that's a luxury for a team. And that's why the Pittsburgh Steelers, with several other franchises in this league, they like to strike when the iron's hot with a young quarterback and they know that they can do something. So they load up, they build around them, they get that depth that they normally wouldn't be able to get when you have that inflated quarterback salary. You're not able to load up in certain areas because you have to compensate for that hefty salary. You already have some other big name players. So 90% of your salary cap is eaten up in 3-4 big name players. So you got to watch that. So the Steelers now, without that inflated quarterback salary, a Kenny Pickett playing well as a young guy on a cheap rookie deal, so many of those factors. And Omar Khan seems to be able to just keep finding diamonds in the rough, keep bringing in guys that fit into that Steelers system and are able to contribute. And they may not have been, world burners before at the previous team, but you put them in the right situation with the right leadership around a veteran mix with young players in the environment and just breed something that's a winning environment. And you see this, guys, and you see that depth building. And that is probably the major reason that the Steelers are in the position they are now, minus Ben Roethlisberger's big salary. And I know it went down a little bit, but it was still 20, $30 million all the time, So that's heavy. That's a heavy hit on your salary cap when you're paying a TJ Watt what you're paying him, a Minka what you're paying him. Players like that, it just eats away and eats away, and you've got to be able to compensate and build through the draft and eat down some of those salaries with players that are serviceable, good players that are going to give you the depth and the production you need behind your star players. And that is what the Steelers have done this offseason. And barring any injuries, and barring the beat down of the depth, I think the Steelers team got a great chance. And when you have the depth that they do right now, you're set up for a big run, because a lot of teams in the NFL don't have that depth because they have a bunch of star players they're paying a bunch of money to. And once you get past that first group, that second group, you're kind of screwed. You're kind of assed out. So if any type of injury happens, you're reeling, man, and you're scrambling and trying to find somebody off the street to come in and replace somebody, and your money's messed up. You've traded draft picks off. You've allocated money to players that aren't playing. It becomes a complete and utter disaster. But these are the reasons, guys, why I think the Steelers can withstand a TJ Watt injury this season, or an injury to any type of their major players. And that even goes, guys, with that quarterback position, because I think Mitch Trubisky can come in with the way this team's constructed right now and still get them through 2-3 games. I think that they can do that. And I think Mason Rudolph can do that also. So I like that quarterback depth. It's just all the way down the board for the Steelers team. So sit down, break down that roster, look at the depth, and look at what they've had in the years past. And you're gonna be able to see it, and you're gonna be able to look at it and go, damn, they got a chance, they got a good chance. And it's a lot better of a situation, and you can see it, and it's very exciting. And I hope you guys are excited. And again, thanks for stopping by, guys. That's just a quick episode of what I wanted to say about that situation, and I wanted to get that out there. I haven't seen a video of somebody putting that situation out there again, to where we've talked about what would happen if the Steelers had something catastrophic go on like that. So I wanted to let you guys know about the Steelers' depth, a little bit about why I think they can withstand that, and I appreciate you coming through. And until next time, peace.